Sunday, 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 Shadyside Dragway. We're back again to make this thing go faster than it's ever gone before. That's right. After we've been living on the road for like a few days now. We came down to Shadyside, we raced yesterday, had a great time, went farther, did better than we expected, but are we happy with that? Of course not. There's still more to figure out. So today, we're gonna take the Nova and I'm gonna leave the same tune-up from round 2 because there was some issues there yesterday that I wanna check out. We're gonna ensure it's logging and not have any issues with that today because it's test and tune, be nice and easy. And we're gonna make some rips down the racetrack. We're gonna figure out what this thing is capable of. I don't know how much boost we gave to it yesterday based on previous calculations. Apparently it shouldn't be any more than 20, so we've still got more to go, but we can't do any of that until I get this logging thing figured out. I'll tell you what's going on. What happens is with the Terminator, I have it set on the handheld that when the throttle position sensor goes above a certain percentage, it kicks on a log. Well, sometimes it just acts funky, sometimes it doesn't work right, whatever the case may be. Yesterday in the second pass, we didn't get our log like we were supposed to. So today what I'm gonna do is do the burnout, hit the touch screen, manually click the start log button, and go back through, and we will get ourselves a log. I think Maddie are here, Rex is here. I don't know if they're making hits today or if they're just hanging out, what's going on, but we got friends, we got race cars, we got a beautiful Sunday. Let's get to it. All right, so one thing that I wanted to show you guys because somebody had made a comment that I talk about turning it up and I never really tell anybody how I turn it up. And since today's test and tune day, we can get a little bit more technical. I can show you guys some kind of stuff. This right here is our boost ramp as it currently sits, from 0 to 7 seconds and then to 15. We've got it right now in quarter-second increments of 0.25, 0.5, 0.75, 1, 1.25, 1.5, and then 2, 2.53, all that kind of stuff. So what we're doing, we are leaving on 15 pounds, right? So 15 pounds on the leave when I'm holding the trans brake button, and then boost first time, we've got 15.9 up to 18 and 1.25. Now you got to keep in mind that this number here is dome pressure PSI. So you have to add that to the wastegate spring, which in this case is like 5.5 pounds. So you think about that and you're like, well, 15.9, that's 16 plus 5, that's 21 pounds. Well, no, because at some point we stop going 1-to-1 on dome pressure. When the pressure is lower, like when we put 5 pounds of pressure on the 5-pound spring, we can net 10 or something like that. But as you get higher in the boost, it's not 1-to-1 anymore. So for this, we're gonna do that. We're gonna go ahead and hit that. That's gonna be our boost ramp. And then rev limiters. So our current rev limiter overall is 7,400 and this is 4,000. That should have been 4,200. I don't know why that is. So maybe I forgot to click save or something that happened there. You'll have that. But that's no big deal. We're gonna leave it just how it was yesterday. We're gonna go from there. And then one other thing I wanted to show you, something we're gonna try to mess with today, trans brake and bump setup. So the way that Derek has this set up, this is really cool and I wanted to show you guys. The first thing I'm going to say about this is it may not do what it's set up to do. The reason why is because we have a regular relay in there instead of a solid state relay or a mini relay. So what this is set up to do is this is set up for me to hit and hold the button, which is something that I'm not used to. I'm used to just clicking it. But if I hit and hold the button, it should creep forward. Now, the way that this is gonna work is the bump calculation output in RPM. This is gonna be based on the load of the engine. So what happens is that once we figure out this table, and it might work with this relay, it might not. So, you know, if it doesn't work, we're not gonna cry about it. We're just gonna get a different relay and put it in there. So the way that this should work, sorry, because this is the screen I'm supposed to be on, based on boost, TPS, RPM, it's gonna do all of these things and it's gonna calculate how hard it should do it. So that way, no matter if we leave at 15 pounds of boost, 10 pounds of boost, 3,600 RPM, 4,200 RPM, it's gonna do the calculation for us. So every time I hit the button, it bumps the exact same way, regardless of what launch settings I have. So this is something really cool that Derek, aka Slower Than You, has set up for me. Yesterday, it bumped. So we just left it alone. It was enough to bump and stage, and we're not gonna mess with it because you can get too far with these things where, you know, you turn it down too much and then the car doesn't want to move at all, or you turn it up and then it wants to take huge leaps forward. Yesterday we just made sure that it worked and used that. Maybe today, if things go well and we've got good time for it and everything, I'll start to play around with some of these calculations and turn it up and down and see if we can get a smoother bump, or possibly full-fledged just hold the button in the creep. That's where the issue is going to be. I'm not used to holding the button down because it's also set on a timer, so it's gonna, if I hold the button down, it's only going to creep for so long. So these are all things we got to figure out, but I wanted to show you guys because somebody had made a comment and I was like, you know what, you're right. Like, I never really do show you guys the computer and what we're doing and how we're trying to figure it out. The one thing that I realized is that what I thought would be big changes in this car and for as far as starting line and power, the car does not think so. 2 reasons. This surface is fantastic, and second reason is 180 gear set, 373 gear. When I make these changes that I think are big, where I think, you know, 2 pounds on the leave is a pretty big deal, the car is just like, nah, it's not really that big of a deal. We'll get it sorted. I think we're just gonna go up and make a pass because I don't want to change anything. I just want to see if we can get the logs, see what the pass yesterday was. I know what the ET should be. So if all that checks out, we've got a clean bill of health, we're good to go. And then we'll start making adjustments and go from there. So hopefully the log took because the screen was frozen and it wouldn't stop the log. So we'll see about that in a second here. Nope, as soon as I launched, something happened. Because see, here we are building up, and the launch. Killing me, Smalls. Killing me. Killing me. Felt good though, went fastest ever gone. Fastest mile an hour, fastest 60 foot. Fastest. But we've got no data log. I think I know what's happening. When we were in staging lanes, I was trying to fill up the tires. It seemed like it was okay after the burnout though. But for some reason, when I turned the car on, everything, the MAC valve was going crazy. And I think it's just bleeding off all the air in the system. I didn't turn the MAC valves on until the burnout. Then after that, I couldn't tell. It's a little hard to hear in the car. But they're right there on the dash, so you can hear them click, 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 click. I think I know what's happening. I think what's happening is there's something going on with either the MAC valves or we've got another leak or something. And by the time we get to the 8th, there just isn't enough to keep dome pressure on the wastegate. So we're gonna take a little bit of time and I'm gonna review some things, go over some things, and go from there, see what happens. Eureka! I have discovered land, or in this case, broken race car parts, at least what I think, right? So we're going through this, and my theory is, based on the tune-up that I have in the car, what I think is that it should have gone like about a 10th faster, right? And I notice that as soon as the pass was done, if not maybe even before the finish line, I could hear the air compressor kick back on. So I'm like, where are we losing air? Because we're not putting that much dome pressure on. If you come over here, we turn the MAC valves on and they're going crazy, and I'm like, well, why are the MAC valves going crazy? And I think it's coming out of the wastegate. I think we may have torn the diaphragm on the wastegate and it's all just leaking out. The only way to check that is to take the wastegate off, which is still too hot to do, and open it up and see. If that's the case, I think Nick and I have the same size wastegates. I don't know if they're the same style and everything else, but I'll see if he's got an extra diaphragm. If not, we're gonna call Byron and we're gonna get one of those new piston style ones without the diaphragms in it. That'll fix us right up. It'll be something we have to install this week, and it kind of sucks, but because we can't really, I mean, I can get the 60 foot down and we can pick up in the 60 foot, but we're missing back half.
60s.
Do you have any diaphragms? The MAC valve's going crazy, and I feel like we're losing air. And when I turn it on, I can hear air coming out of the wastegate. I think we're putting tires. Look, now he's finding all the stuff he couldn't find for 10 years. It was in the storage trailer. Get the f out. He has one, my man.
Come see the Hustle and Horsepower friggin' merch, or what would that be called?
Mobile repair station.
Mobile repair station for all your needs. So when I lose first run, I can still make a buck.
Yeah, well, I'll take it apart and we'll know pretty quickly if that's what it is.
So when you assemble these, use a feeler gauge.
Yeah, you're gonna have to show me that.
Use a feeler gauge. Otherwise, they can roll over on each other.
Oh, when you're right back
as you're tightening it up, use a feeler gauge and make sure that is rolled in.
Okay.
Otherwise you'll pinch this lip here.
Yeah.
If you pinch that lip there, it's gonna rip again.
It's gonna rip again. Gotcha.
Now suck on it and then put your tongue on it.
Nothing. I can suck all day long.
Diaphragm probably ripped in. What is that, like a 6 millimeter or something like that, or a 4 millimeter Allen on those ones?
Yeah, and like a 10 millimeter nut.
Fucking big. It's not too big.
It's way too big.
It's the right size for the right job.
It's adjustable for a reason.
Yeah, but it's like adjustable to 1.25 inches. Like, for a 10 millimeter bolt. And of course the threads on this thing are the longest ever.
See, and look at that. When you use an adjustable, you don't lose your nut.
Oh, you got the nut? Oh, okay.
I think I compare with those too.
I don't think that's the problem.
Now you're ready to go no prep racing.
With no wastegate?
No boost.
No boost, yeah.
You could hook on wet, oily leaves in the wintertime.
This thing won't even do a burnout. I used to have to spray this thing. The 373 gear and a 6.0 in it, I have to spray it, or a 5.3, I have to spray it in a burnout to get it to turn the tire. Alright, we're about to find out.
Don't lose bolts now.
Oh.
How the hell did you do that?
That aluminum was kind of sharp.
Oh, it seems fine. Or it don't look torn to me.
So on these gates here, the bottom and top screw together.
Yeah.
Like it's not the tile ones are all one unit, I believe. But this one has a screw-in deal there. I'm not exactly sure how you're supposed to really tighten that.
So when I took it apart, the diaphragm looks fine, but underneath it's supposed to screw in to the top, and it was just ding 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 loose. So that's probably where our leak was.
I was gonna unscrew it to show them, but I think I got it tight enough. So this bottom piece here has male threads on it, and this top piece here has female threads on it, and that's what seals this gate, or seals this diaphragm here, from the top side and the bottom side of the wastegate. So a wastegate, you use air pressure on top plus your spring pressure to target a number on the bottom side of the gate, which is your exhaust back pressure. And in an ideal world, it's about 1-to-1 ratio. So if you have a 5-pound spring and 5 pounds of air pressure, you should have about 10 pounds of exhaust pressure. That's an ideal world. We don't live in an ideal world, but for the most part, yeah.
I bet you it'll go 1-to-1 now. It stopped going 1-to-1 after like 10 pounds, and I bet you now it'll go 1-to-1.
It'll be closer. Yeah. We'll just seal that up. If you ignore me.
Usually helps you get the tool. I need the tool right there.
you know what way that has to be orientated, or does it not matter?
Yes, it has to be this way.
Before you put it on the deal, flip the gate over and work it with just like a plunger yourself, because you'll feel it. It should be progressive, right? And if the gate is pinched, there's a chance you'll feel it before you rip your gate.
I should probably turn it down now.
What?
Be like, Matt,
I want to see this thing go on the bumper.
right? Be like, we fixed one little part of this diaphragm, and then I didn't change the tune-up, and it went a 109 60 foot on the rear tire. What happened?
You had a yeehaw moment.
Yeah. You know what we should have done?
Found a better hobby than race cars? Send her home.
Yeah, she's good. Pull it.
The things you do for friends.
I'd hold your wastegate, Nick.
I appreciate it, buddy. That sounded like a pretty promising snap.
That's right there.
122 60 foot on the back bumper. Here it comes.
Here it comes. All right, you should be able to let it go.
Thank you.
And it should be good, in theory. I think it's fixed. Because now it's holding pressure and the back valve isn't going crazy. I think we fixed it. All right, we've got the diaphragm issue sorted. So I'm pulling up to the lanes now, letting it get full of air, let it get some heat in the motor, everything. Didn't change the tune-up, so one of two things is gonna happen. It was either a little problem and we're gonna go a little bit faster, AKA what I expected to make with that tune-up in it, or it was a big problem and we're gonna go incredibly slower because it's gonna hit boost cut. And yeah, we're gonna see how well soft and hard boost cut work. Well, we know how well hard boost cut works. We're gonna see how well soft boost cut works. That was boost cut. That was hard boost cut.
Yeah.
It was a big problem. I don't know why it hit boost cut in the dam on the brake. Yeah. But yeah. Well, at least I want to make sure it was boost cut, not another cut. But that was a hard cut. So if it was boost cut, that diaphragm issue has been holding us back significantly.
Yeah.
And we've been kicking ass, so I ain't even mad at that. Safety cuts one. Oh yeah, it over. It made 25 pounds of boost. What? I know why.
What?
I hooked them up backwards.
Ah.
Oopsie. So just super important note, when you're taking your lines off of your wastegate and then you're taking them out of the car and using them to blow on stuff and everything, make sure you put them back together the right way. I don't know that it actually made 25 pounds on the dome, or it made 25 pounds of boost, but it saw 25 pounds, and I think it's because I had them crisscrossed. That was my stupidity. But it probably saw dome pressure as mat pressure instead of, so that's why it thought it was at 25 pounds. So we'll just let it cool down, and then we'll go make another one. Simple little thing, it happens. All right, wastegate lines are properly where they're supposed to be. Take two. went exactly the same.
Exactly the same it did before?
Exactly the same pass. So
Interesting.
maybe that's just it. But it did log this time, so we will finally get some information. We could bracket race that thing. Like that, it was that exact same.
Damn.
You win some, you lose some. Not that we've lost some, we've gained a lot. We now have a wide range of 60-foot ideas, so we know how to do that. We know how to make 20 pounds of boost. We can do that. What we don't know is why we're back to not charging again. And I'm gonna say back to not charging. Maybe we never were charging and I was just having false hope because it was going faster. In the interest of what's best for us and the car, there's like less than an hour of test and tune left. We're not fixing anything. I can make it 60 harder by just turning up launch RPM, turning up power at the front side, you know, at the front part of the run, but we're not gaining anything. And what's happening when the voltage drops, so does fuel pressure. Because when you're running at 13 something volts versus 11.7 volts, you're gonna get two different rates of flow out of the fuel pump. What's happening is the fuel pump flow is not staying consistent with the voltage, and the computer is cycling the injectors and upping the duty cycle to compensate for that. Now at the end of the world, we've got 2200 Snake Eater Pro Series injectors. We're not getting higher than 50% duty cycle even at that, and fuel pressure is dropping lower than it should, but not a rate that is so alarming that we're going to grenade the motor. We have a safety in place for that, and we're still a ways away from the safety, but why push it? The car's been working great. I've been making a lot of right decisions here lately. We've been fixing stuff. It's been getting better, fixing stuff, getting better, not being stupid, not trying to, oh, well, now let's give it 25 pounds. Well, why? We know we don't have fuel pressure. So let's get that figured out. Let's get the voltage figured out. That should fix a lot of other issues. It should probably go a little bit faster too, because when the voltage drops, you're having less power to the ignition coils, more voltage, good thing. We need more voltage. At this point, I don't know what the issue is. Somebody told me, hit me up and said that when you overspin the alternators, it burns something up in them, and even if you put the larger pulley on it, it still won't fix it. The thing is voltage is coming back. After I let out of the gas, voltage is coming back. So it may still be, Sammy hooked me up with an extra tensioner that we're gonna have to like build some spacers for and stuff to put on the other side of the belt. So maybe we'll try putting that on. I'll probably get a new alternator, try that. If that doesn't work, figure out the tensioner, try that. We got some stuff to try, but there's no point in pushing it. Things have been going great. Shadyside is awesome. Thank you to Corey Stamper. Thank you to Caitlin Ward, who hooked us up with the thumbnail picture for the video that was supposed to drop today. And then, look, when that happens, when it says it premieres and it just never premieres, that has nothing to do with us. That is entirely YouTube. We have uploaded the video. Something is happening with YouTube. It does this funky crap sometimes. So, we're gonna go back to the house. Nick got some semi-final monies yesterday, so he's gonna treat us to some steaks that I'm gonna chef up. But for now, we're gonna load up, get out of here. Good day.